Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to this edition of Mods Worth Noting. It's been a bit due to the move, so I'm able to get back in here. We've got several weeks to go through. Let's see what we find. So Vegetable Factory is a new production. It looks like it basically puts some vegetables into boxes, and obviously in the process it takes some of the raw quantity and decreases it. So for example, you can see the production recipe: 400 carrots turn into 350 carrots in a box. You also have chilies, which I don't think are part of the base game, and then you can do mixtures such as chili and tomato and get a chili and tomato salad, or potatoes and oil and get French fries. So similar to some things that have existed, but a little bit unique. Vehicle statistic marker is a very simple quality of life mod where it just puts some markers in the vehicle list for the vehicle and attachments that you currently have. So major service addresses a dynamic that's been in the game where basically as equipment ages, it does wear and tear more rapidly. So they give an example of if you harvest for 4 hours of work in a brand new combine, you get 10% damage. But if you harvest the same field when the combine has 50 hours of use, you get 37% damage. This basically resets that counter at the cost of 5% of the price that you paid for the equipment. You can do it as early as 25 hours, but then it counter starts again, and then you need to do it between 25 and 50 hours. If you choose not to do it, it indicates nothing bad happens. You just basically don't get the benefit of having this mod installed and being able to make that decision, and in essence have the vehicle function like new again and wear and tear more slowly. So if as you're working your fields and you're in your equipment, you like to stay in first person mode instead of looking at it from the outside, Real GPS mod might be something to look at. All it does is displays a mini-map inside the vehicle without the need of using the HUD. So it puts it on a monitor instead of going ahead and displaying it on the screen. And then you have the ability to zoom and so forth. It says it works pretty well with most of the base game vehicles, and some mod vehicles could work, but if not, it gives you a guide to integration in the README file. A new production is pasta production, which lets you make, as you would assume, pasta. So on the old equipment standpoint, John Deere Model A by EY Modding, $8,000 for a 20 horsepower tractor to do some basic work on a very small farm. I'm not going to link to these other two, but he's also got two other older tractors that you might want to take a look at, the John Deere AOS and the John Deere 3010, 3020. Cut Open Bale is in an old mod that has reappeared. I'm not sure I've seen a version of this yet in Farming Simulator 25. It does exactly what you said. It lets you convert a bale into contents on the ground that you can then use a scoop to pick up, for example. Automatic Gate is a mod that automatically opens and closes doors and gates. Specialized Food Productions basically takes the bakery and adds 7 new recipes and 2 new fill types, including things like cheesecake and pastries. If you love raising animals, you may have already heard about this mod, as I've seen several in-depth videos about it going around. Realistic Livestock, which does a complete overhaul to the animal system. Basically tracks individual animals. Everything's 100% individual. It has a genetic system, a pregnancy system, where cows can have, say, 0 to 3 calves. Animals will age differently, so they won't always just survive up to a certain age or so forth, or survive perpetually, whatever it is. You do need male animals for reproduction, which you have not had to do before. Just a lot of things to it. Obviously, I'm not going into all the detail, and as I said, if you're into this and don't want to try to figure it out on your own, I've seen a couple channels do some really good walkthroughs of this where they got early access to this, but it is now available for public use. And finally, Easy Development Controls has returned. This was a way to make some changes and kind of do some back-end, almost admin type things in the system. So if you've been waiting for this to come back, about 9 months after game release, here it is. And that will do it for this edition of Mods Worth Noting. Again, quite a few things, but we also had basically 3 weeks that we needed to review instead of simply one. As always, if you've enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you next time.